to the channel. It's Mark from Apprentice 121 and Powersonic. Before we get on with this video, I've got a couple of things I want to mention. First up, this is a sponsored video. Well, it's stretching the term what sponsored actually is, but I can dream. No, we're raising money for the Samaritans, and it's to do with raising awareness around mental health and suicide. There's some truly tragic figures that the Samaritans produce every year, and the latest version of that from 2019 showed that there was 5,691 recorded suicides in England and Wales. You know, that's really horrific, to be honest, and the numbers for the UK and Ireland as well is over 7,000. So the idea of this little campaign to raise some awareness and engage in discussion with people about mental health and suicide, and to try and break down some barriers around all of that, is to run a minimum of 5,691 metres every day. That's my challenge. Some other people are getting involved as well. Some of them are going to run it, some are going to walk it, whatever you want to do. You don't have to do it every day if you want to get involved. My intention is to get out over 7,000 metres as quickly as I can. I managed to do that yesterday. My knees are a little bit sore after that fact, but I'm going to try and keep doing that every day through August. So that's my little goal, and we are raising some money. Amy the Spark has started a GoFundMe page, and all the money raised goes to the Samaritans. So if you want to do that, the link I'll pop in the video description here, and it's also on all of my social media channels. So go and check that out, and it'd be great to get some support if you're able. That would be lovely. And likewise, if you ever need the help and support of the Samaritans, they're there 24/7. Telephone number 116 123. This can affect anyone at any time, so it's not something to be embarrassed or ashamed of. If you don't feel right, it's an illness, seek that support and specialist help. But moving on with the rest of this video, I've also got to mention about the giveaway that Super Rod and Klein are doing through Apprentice 121. So we've got 5 kits, which has a pair of Klein snips, some mega voltage indicators and an MCG lockout kit, and we've also got 25 of the MCG lockout kits. And I've started the giveaway over on Instagram. The idea is you create a post, tag Apprentice 121 into it, and we're going to do a live video at some point in the future to pick a few winners. You know, it just has to be a bit of your work. It can be out on site, at college, whatever you want, just something you're proud of. Tag us into the post, and yeah, we'll have a look through some of those entries later on this month and pick a few winners, hopefully. But that's enough of me going on at the start of this video. Let's get straight to it. Hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, let me know what you think, and enjoy. Hi, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mark from Powersonic and Apprentice 121. And today we're getting on with the Rewire series over on the house you saw with episode 1 and 2 for the chasing video and a general run around. We've been away from site now for quite some time because of the old ping and positive tests in our team. We've had to be isolating certain members of staff, so it hasn't been the series I wanted to record, but we're going to make the best of it we can. One of the things we were showing was chasing, and in my absence my team have been looking at other ways of making things easier and speeding things up. And they've stumbled upon this. I think they've been out now for kind of a couple of years, so this is nothing new, but this is a cordless Dewalt wall chaser. Picked it up from the CEF, just the job sale that they do, and in this case we've combined it, if you can see that, with the Metabo triple blade. So that's the box there. I'm not strictly speaking sure if this is a combination that the manufacturer will warrant, so we're probably breaking all of the warranty on this tool by using it with a triple blade, but it does work really, really well. We've done pretty decent to get hold of these blades from Metabo actually, because there's been an issue with stock of them around the UK. We've managed to find a few, so we've got some. They do come with these blades as standard with the Dewalt chasing kit, so these are the 125mm blades that you get in the kit, and you can set those with the spacers. So these are a couple of the spacers I've removed to fit the triple blade in, to set your channel width. And if you see here on the side of the tool, it'll chase to 40mm. It's really simple to change the blade. So it kind of locks open, it'll spring down, and then you can see here you've got this little rotational lock that you just twist off, and then the blades pop out, and you can adjust them with the spacers for whatever you need. And then to relock it again, you just shut it all back together and clip it up. Battery life is often the biggest concern with these things, because you're not running on mains. You are going to need to keep on top of your battery charging. The kit we've got came with 2 of the 6 amp hour 54 volt flexvolts. And with one of the fast chargers as well, so if you keep on top of it and when it's not in use you've always got a battery on charge, so you're filling one up, you usually won't go too far wrong, especially if you're already in the Dewalt battery system anyway. If you've got a battery knocking around for some other tools, it ain't going to be an issue. The only other real thing with it is the weight to it. So it is, in comparison to the Titan we use actually earlier on in this video series, it is a little bit heavier. Definitely with the battery on, again, with a 6 amp hour battery, it's a little bit less noticeable, but if you're putting the 9 amp hours in there, it does feel quite weighty. And obviously once you've got this on the wall, the weight necessarily isn't such a great big issue because you're applying force to the wall rather than holding it up. But it is something to consider, and again you'll see with the arrows on here that this one is a puller. So the Titan one we use is one that you would push up the wall, this one you would draw down the wall. And again, as you set your depths on the side, I never showed you that before, but it kind of locks this from being able to move too far. So if we set it so it can go all the way to maximum, and then as soon as I release this trigger on the top, you'll see it will allow that. If we set it to 20 and I hold the trigger on the top, it'll just allow you to go that deep. So you know the depth you're cutting your chase to. And with the Metabo blade, obviously you're getting that cut out for oval tube generally, perhaps normal conduit. So yeah, it also comes with one of these in the kit for breaking out. I can't think that anyone's really going to be going to the trouble of using that. You're more likely to put some of this like this into your SDS gun, maybe a little bit narrower than that one, and have a clean out if you need to be. But I'll demo this on site. As I said, most of the first fix was all done before I've had opportunity to record anything. So we have got an additional socket that the customer wants fitted and it needs a bit of chasing and chopping out. So we can dig this out on site. I'll show you it in use and how it performs in real time on the extractor and see what you think. In the meantime, let's cut straight to site. We'll go and catch up with the work that's been carried out. The way we left it before, we would kind of got all the chop out done, and I think we were at the stage of pulling the cabling in off the top of my head. I think that's kind of where we got up to. So we'll have a look at some of the cable runs. We'll explain how we've managed to fish the cable over that flat roof, if you remember, so we can talk about that. We've still got the consumer unit to fix. I'm going to do a separate video on that for the fuse box install. So that's the consumer unit, fuse box brand. So we can cover that in a separate video. And then, yeah, we'll just talk about some of the general characteristics of the work we've done. And get involved in the comments as always. Let's carry on with the video and I'll see you all on site. Guess I'm upstairs on this rewire and we've got a bit of, if I spin you around this way, we've got a bit of bonding and a little top skin waiting to go on over there. The client's got a plasterer who's coming around to sort all that out now, with the rest of the damp work that's been done, and I'll show you around the rest of the building. Most of the existing plaster's in pretty bad shape and they're just going to have a reskim and sort out with that from the plasterer, but we are filled in the chases with bonding obviously to get the oval tube covered. I'll show you a little bit downstairs on a socket that's open still, how we're dressing them away, so you can have a look at that. But yeah, this is what you saw me chopping out in the first part of the series. That's another socket down there. Obviously with the coronavirus, we had a bit of an issue where we couldn't get out to site. We had positive cases in our team and we had to isolate. So this has moved along without me here. So I've not been able to record as much of it as I really wanted to. But we are covering the fuse box. I'm going to show that as a separate video. I'll show you in here how we dress away sockets and switches, so you can have a little look at that as well. If you want to see how we bond up, there is actually a video on that on one of our other rewire jobs from a couple of months ago, so you can go and see that. It's the same here, it's just basically bonding to get to a level finish and then a top fill over the top. But yeah, if we go through this way, I'll spin you up. This is across the landing here, so this is some of the damp proofing work that's been going on. This is actually upstairs, but they've decided this is a gable end, so they've taken off up to here. I'm not sure why or what's going on there, but that's what's happened. We wasn't aware that they were doing upstairs, so we had to second fix this, but obviously that socket's been a bit butchered with the plastering, so we need to sort that out now as well. This is a socket, this is the Latin plaster wall, so that's all in and sorted. We've got the one here that you would have seen me chopping out, that's bonded in as well. The lights in the loft was a right challenge, but we managed to fish across with the Rumpertech rods. They are brilliant, by the way, fantastic rod set. and I'll talk about them more in another video when I can demonstrate using them. But unfortunately, like I said, I wasn't here when we were doing most of that. That's the loft space up there. It was absolutely horrific. It was really hot when it was Matty in the end who went up because he had the longest arms, but there's no real timbers you can stand on. There's kind of pitched, it's like a pitched roof inside, and then there's some false bits of ceiling and all sorts, and yeah, it was just an absolute mess. We had to kind of rod across. You can't even get in that way along. There's not enough space to even wriggle through. So Matty did a good job there, and we've got all the wires back to here into a junction box. Bathroom light up. Pull cord for this room at the customer's request. And we've got the light up here as well. Still got the smoke alarms to pop up, but we're waiting until the rest of the construction work's done for that. They're just going to end up getting covered in, blathered in dust, even if we leave the cover caps on. It's just not worth it. There's no one living here, so we're going to... But I'll jump down and show you downstairs. We've got an earth rod going in as well. I'll cover that on the consumer unit video and this one. And yeah, see what's on the cards downstairs. Okay, so we're downstairs. This is the front room. It's had a bit of a damp treatment done already, and the sockets are second fixed. So if I'll spin you around it to drive the camera. We've got the socket down there, and again, these are 450 for newer building regs. Old one's dead now, that's just waiting to be cut off. We've got this one over here, and again, this room's going to be reskinned now, as I said, on the section upstairs. It's all going to be replastered, having had the trouble with the damp they've got. the light switch here, and again, that's to 1200, old one to be got rid of. Asbestos ceilings were tested, as I said in the first video, but that's the light fitting up there. And then we've got a little socket down in this corner over here. So I won't run you around the whole thing because it's kind of as I showed you at first fix, but we've got the sockets on now. So this is the end wall that's been fully damp treated and plastered. So we're waiting for that to dry off. This can show you actually in one of the sockets because this hasn't been second fixed yet. You can see here we bring the oval tube through, and if you watch some of our other videos you'll have seen us doing that as well. So you don't need a grommet, you can squeeze the oval tube together and it comes into the back of the box. And that's ready to be second fixed now. Matty or Nathan will get on with that in a little while. So if I bring you this way, we have got this utility area. So Matthew, whoa, camera's doing a little longer of its own. We've got the ceiling where we've had to open up a route for the cables that Matthew's popped off, and that's ready now for the plasterer to sort out. We've just got a pull cord and a lamp in here. This is staying as a little downstairs toilet. Over here we've got the socket and spare. So the spare is for this low level socket here to do the washing machine or tumble dryer, whichever way around it was. And then the same on this wall here, low level outlet, and then a socket and 20 amp isolator above the surface, sorry, not spares, 20 amp isolators. And then again on the ceiling, just a basic batten for the time being. Heaters are all coming out, so we've got those to get rid of. Light switch as you come in this room. So that's down here, and again we've got bonding in there ready for the plasterers to sort out. Kitchen's been delivered at the end of August, so we've got to come back and do a bit of work in the kitchen when that arrives. But you'll see here we've got the second fix kind of done for the sockets they want. Yeah, I spoke about those at first fix. Plasterers made quite some mess. We've got a couple of sockets there, one in that corner. This one needs a bit more bonding around it, having taken off the old socket this morning. Extractor outlet up there, and that's going to be in the back of a cupboard, just on a plug top. So the extractor's built into the unit itself, and there's a cupboard above where that socket's going to live. We've got a cooker isolator there, and then a low level cooker outlet plate. Obviously the cooker's going to this side, so it's not over the top of it. And then over here we've got a 20 amp isolator on the oven radial coming down to another cooker outlet plate for the oven to connect into, and a little socket there on the socket circuit for a microwave, I believe. Just to show you actually the condition of some of these back boxes, this was one of the existing ones, and you can see the corrosion in there. I mean, that's virtually totally shot and gone. Yeah, through damp penetrating into the building. It really is a wet building. Matthew's just finishing the second fix off out in this little extended area, and again this is the socket we mentioned about with the zone with it being under the window and running horizontal. It's the only way really. And again, this is all getting skinned and plastered. I'll show you out in the workshop area. We've got that sorted as well. Spotlights are in. This is to customer spec and request, so we've got 3 rows of 4. And again, that'll be nice and bright in here. They're not all on the same bank, they're on a couple of banks, so they don't all switch together, which is handy. And again, if they want, they can be put on dimmers. They're JCC V50s, so they can be dimmed if needs be. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to cover. Oh yeah, we've got the chaser there, so I'll drop that in the video in use upstairs. I did get an awesome clip of Nathan stuffing his face with a massive cake, but the radio was on, so we've had to ditch it, and he's run outside now to squirrel the rest of it to himself. This is the consumer unit, and I'm doing a separate video on that, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it's fuse box 1, and that's all in. And if I spin around here, you'll see we had the isolator switch in the meter, which is always a win. No need to mess about with the DNO. We've got an earth rod to put in outside. I'll get that on some video as well and show you that going in. Again, this had an existing earth rod just behind us, but it's not in the best condition. I'll get a picture of that and pop it up somewhere in the video so you can have a look. We're going to new. There's an oil boiler going in the workshop as well, so we've got some bonding down there to sort out, and it all tied in quite nicely with just making a better job of the earthing arrangement coming into the place. So yeah, we just got a last little nip up, a second fixing, obviously some testing, and then we're about there for where we need to be until the kitchen arrives, I guess, and we'll pick back up on this video and have a wander around, I guess, when it's all kind of done. I'll show you out in the workshop and show you the earth rod on this video. As I said, if you go and have a look at the consumer unit video with this, I think that'll come out before this one. That will cover the installation of the fuse box board that I just showed you. So I'll have a better look at that and talk about what we've done there and see what you think of that one. Catch up with you in a little bit. Look at Nathan, greedy boy. Is that all for you? It's all for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at him. There's not a pinch of fat on him. I had to look at that and gain a stir. You greedy git. Okay, so we're out in the workshop, and this is Matthew's handiwork in here. It's pretty decent. I'll talk you through what we've got. I'll just spin you around. So we'll start over in this corner. This wall basically backs onto the house, and we come through here with a spare for an oil boiler. So that's what that is up there. We're going to have an oil boiler that lives somewhere down here, and that's our earth cable for the earth rod, and that's going to punch out through this wall here, and an earth rod outside. I'll show you out there in a second. And then we've got a radial running through the workshop in some black conduit. And again, we've got a bulkhead up there. This is just basic to light the place up in the short term. They are going to do something else with this room in the end, but we've made a decent job of it. We've got a socket over here and a spare just for the light up on the wall. And that's kind of it. So nice little easy conduit job that Matty's knocked together. Made a decent job of that actually, to be honest. And like I said, it's only really temporary, just so they can use this for housing the boiler in the short term, get a bit of power onto it and be able to use the sockets and whatnot. But if we go outside, it's a bit wet. It's not the greatest day. Unlike first fix day when we were here and it was glorious sunshine. See, this is out the front of the property. Let's go to a wider angle. See, this is what I'm on about. So they've got the render here that they're pulling off the wall now. It's really damp. We've got an overhead supply. See, coming off there. It's been chopped into the render, which isn't brilliant, and then it punches through the wall there. But we're going to pop an earth rod in over here and drop into the building at this point. And the reason is there's a water main that runs right along this grass verge, and we're not exactly sure where it's going under the ground, but it ends here, so we can put our rod in relative safety, knowing that we're not going to be damaging anything. So that's the thought process behind that, just to make sure we're not interfering with any existing services. There is some other work to do electrically outside in the future. There's a cesspit here, because this is in a village, there's no real sewerage to the area, and that needs to be changed and have some power taken out to it. So we've got some provision for that already under the floor up here. And you can see we've got this security light that's been put up, that's coming down. And yeah, this is sort of the entrance as we've been coming in. You see here now, Matthew's got the light switches on in here. And yeah, that was the work. So I think that's kind of got you up to speed with where we're at it. This, you know, it's hard to really gauge in today's because we did disappear off this job as a team. We kind of just had one or two people here at a time while we've all been getting sorted out after having the pingdemic or whatever we're going to call it. But yeah, I would say we got to this kind of point after 3 days with 2 or 3 people as a whole. You know what I mean? Kind of amalgamating it. So it's not been too big a job. It's only really a couple of bedrooms, it's not a massive install. So check the fuse box install, check the chop out section as well. I've tried to break it down into more bite-sized little videos than just glossing over everything as a great big whole. And then these kind of 2 bigger videos, if you like, just to wander through and show you what we've done as part of the install. Speaking about the circuit arrangement, and again that is on the fuse box video, we've got a cooker circuit, we've got an oven circuit, we've got a ring that would run around the kitchen and utility room, we've got a radial circuit to the lounge or lounges downstairs, and then a radial upstairs, and a couple of lighting circuits, and a circuit out to the workshop and boiler. But yeah, let's crack on with the video. Okay, so we've got the earth pit dug in and the rod driven down. We're going to see what value of ZE we can get inside. We've got a couple of cables going through, and I'll explain why. We've got a cable going through back to the consumer unit, and that's a 16mm single. We've also got a 10mm single that goes through, and that's just to temporarily connect to the water bond. Now the actual water stop tap is moving over to the kitchen, and we've got a bond over there waiting for that, but obviously we need to bond it in the short term, so it's coming straight off the rod just for now. So we've got that connected down to the same potential. There's not actually anything connected to it in terms of pipe work, but obviously it's inside the property, so we've got to get that bond on there. We've done that just for now. Pit's cut in. If you look at the bottom now, we've got a spider come and make a home already down there, so he's already thinking this is quite a cushy little place for me to live. That's not staying like that, obviously, with the cable going through the wall, as I explained in the video before, or it might be in the video to do with the job rather than the consumer unit. But this render's all coming off, so there's no point doing anything too fancy with that for the moment. It's just functional for now. So once the render's taken off, and they're going to be digging out the other side of this wall as well to insulate it, we can put a proper route in to the earth rod. This was the rod we did have originally to work with. Obviously that's seen better days. We were getting a value on that of nearly 1,000 ohms, so it's obviously not doing a great deal anymore. It could well be to do with the termination rather than the rod itself, but we've gone for a nice copper one and put it in a proper pit just to make a decent job of it. Like I say, we was being careful of the water pipe within the ground, so we've had to put the pit there because that's somewhere we were comfortable to know that there wasn't going to be any water pipe work. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that one. I'll show you inside, taking some measurements of ZE and what we've managed to achieve off that rod. Right, so we're going to get a measurement of ZE now. You've seen the electrode outside. We're clamped onto the main earth going off to that. There's no bonding currently in place. If I attach my probe, you'll see there we're measuring 249 volts. If I can hold it on at the same time and hit test, you see it runs into the test process, and we've got 24.2 ohms. We've repeated this a few times now and it's very consistent, so I'm happy with that. That's actually a good value onto the electrode, and obviously we can let it settle as well. We're here another day, so we can take some more measurements, make sure it's consistent. It is quite a wet day outside, that's going to affect it. But yeah, we're well under the 100 ohms there. That's pretty decent just for a single rod. And obviously we've got the cable going over to it as well. So we can get on with the rest of the testing now, see if we can get some of this energized, and you'll see in the video to do with the job as a whole, how it's all come together at the end. That'll do. Okay, so we're on, we've got the power on, we've been through the dead and live tests. All the sockets are on and working now, so I'm upstairs and we've got the light switches all working, lights are on in the bathroom. We're just having a tidy through now, a bit of muck to clear away. So all these sockets are all working. You'll have seen in the video for the ZE, it's around 0.2 to 0.25. Once the water bond's connected, it's an old lead pipe coming in, so it's not a great conductor of earth, but it's bringing it down to around 10 ohms, so it's helping a little bit with that overall figure for your PSC and PFC. And obviously with ZS measurements at the sockets and lighting and final circuits, it's helping drag them down a little bit. As you can see in here, just having to gather up with the tools. We've got the sockets all on and working now. Lights are on, I'll show you over in the kitchen actually. So obviously this is the front room. We've got the two-way light switching for that light, and the other one is over there. Obviously top and bottom of the stairs as well. In this room we've got a two-gang switch. One does this half, and the other one does the half over the other end there, and that's customer's request. So there's 2 banks of 6. You see off that double gang switch there. We've got the sockets all on now, so this is a kitchen ring, above worktop, below worktop, and these are obviously, this is where the kitchen's going to be installed over this side. So we've got all the above counter switches and isolators, and we'll show that when the kitchen's in. We're going to come back and film this. We've got to connect the appliances, and there's a few other bits to do in there. These are all on and working, so all of the sockets and stuff have all been tested. Got the lights on now in these two rooms, so we're working there. Yeah, that's about all we can really say on it, really. Got this bulkhead here, lights are on and up outside, so I'll show you that. The guys are just tidying up and getting ready. I've got this little LED light up there, that's all on and ready to go. In here, we've got the little 3 amp spare, which feeds that one up there, just to give a bit of light in here. And it's not too bad, it brightens it up enough. Like I say, the boiler's going to go over there, so it needed a bit of light just for someone's coming to work on it. That's all done. Yeah, we're just clearing out, so I'll leave that with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please get involved in the comments if you have any questions on the install. Let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. Actually, we'll go back to the fuse box. I haven't shown you that. I've still not labelled it up with my labels as yet, but you can see here I've used the ones that come with the board really to just illustrate the type they're giving you. So we've got the cooker circuit, which is the hob. We've then got the ring final circuit into the kitchen, which I've just put the downstairs sockets logo on. We've got the inbuilt oven circuit next to that, and then the workshop one, which I've gone for a garage logo. That's the spare one waiting for the boiler, so that's not marked up yet. And then we've got some upstairs sockets, some downstairs lounge sockets, and then the up and downstairs lights. Obviously we're going to go over that with our metal printer and put some nice labels on. You can see over here, now we've got the light on, so the tails are secured. That's all back in and closed up, switched on. It was nice to have the isolator in there, always helps. The DNO have got to come out and do something with the cable feeding into the house anyway, so they can tidy all this up when they come and do their bit. But yeah, I thought I'd show that on video, and yeah, thanks for watching. Hi, so before we end the video, I just thought I'd quickly mention about the RCBOs. No one's actually noticed. I was hoping we could maybe have a conversation about it in the comments on this video, but it seems like it went under everyone's radar. I think the S-type main switch RCD was the talking point, but I actually installed C-type RCBOs on that board. This is a TT install, and I kind of wanted to have a bit of a discussion on if that was okay or if it isn't. Maybe a little bit of a chat around energy let through. But just to make clear, I'm not leaving C-types in. We've got some B-types here. In fact, if I spin you can see them all. So they're all waiting to go in. We've got some B20s, B32s. But I'm just interested in what other people would say about that. If you was to use a C-type RCBO on a TT installation, bearing in mind that the earth leakage protection's in there, and you've got the theoretical 1667 ohms as your max permitted ZS on those devices. So really you're talking about short circuit, and having done the little video I did earlier on my channel to do with discrimination between MCBs and fuse wire and varying different types of them, what other people's opinion on that would be, and if I could have actually left the C-types in this board. So yeah, get involved in the comments, let me know what you think, and thank you all for watching this video. I will see you on the next one.